I had high hopes for Deus Ex Human Revolution, and let me tell you, from gameplay and RPG elements to story and the world created around the title, it is practically a must-have. I really enjoyed playing with it, so let's see why exactly. One of the first things I noticed is that throughout the game you can talk to virtually any person and hear their own ideas about current or past events. Now you might hear repeated lines from guards, for example, if you're really looking for it, but I listened to hundreds of these little conversations and they were almost always different. And it's quite cool because this way the people in the game, in the universe created around Human Revolution, they feel real. They feel like real people. Not particularly doing stuff all the time, but whenever you pass by, they'll be always talking. So the world of the game got much deeper this way. You might also want to avoid blazing in the case of two guards not patrolling, because as you approach them, you'll always trigger a dialogue. And these also just keep adding info on the world around you. This world has such work put into it that you only have to take a look at the recorded footage and you see what I'm talking about. Down to the last detail, beautiful color grading and such details that is just amazing and definitely a fun atmosphere to be in.
Easy, man! Easy! I saw you throw that firebomb, you little shit! It wasn't me, man! You stay right there.
I played the game on the hardest setting and had to reset it 2 times to normal because of the boss fights. So you get the idea that throughout the game it really was challenging. There are little hints on how to approach certain situations, but it will take time to realize how to properly clear an area without getting spotted. But it was definitely more than hard, and I probably didn't live 10 minutes in a row in hostile areas. You can either choose to go in hard, and you obviously got proper weapons for that, grenades, rockets, laser and plasma weapons, but you're also provided if you decided to go in silently, with silencers, long range, short range electric weapons. You obviously got a nice little skill tree also. I obtained around 60% of all the skills, so it offers quite a lot to enhance your type of gameplay. I did hear from the developer diaries how reduced ammo made the players think and act more carefully, and this is exactly what I experienced as well. Every shot counts, and because energy is reduced as well, every takedown or kill also matters. If you're limited, you have to choose between opponents, so it really makes the game more real. I constantly felt that the slightest mistake could alarm the area. Neutralize the guard too late and the camera might catch you trying to hide the body. Perform a takedown too early or too late, the other guard might see you, so it was really realistic and difficult. But because of this, every enemy neutralized was a piece of the pie, the feeling of success. And the rewards come as well for not being seen, not alarming the guards, and so on. What's great about this sort of Splinter Cell Hitman gameplay is that you get to access all the areas at least in 2 ways. Eliminating enemies can also be done with proper hacking or silently taking out each, and so on. I constantly saw how the developers gave alternate routes and hidden areas to make the gameplay more diverse. The main characters in the game have excellent voiceover. Facial animations could have been better for sure, but with movements like real people and constantly speaking, not taking lame poses, they all feel live and they all make you feel that they've been around before you went there and will be there after you leave. So you get the sense that the world around you develops and you're only a fragment of it. One definitive RPG experience is when you have to confront people and in a sort of way defeat them in conversation with various options offered. Since you confront major characters throughout your journey, people whom you read and heard about, it's a very cool experience, especially if you can get them to give up and admit their wrongs.
Pissed off somebody big. And there's no way Tong's going to ignore that kind of development in his town.
You're smarter than you look. Yeah. Tong is keeping a close eye on things.
And finally, in buildings on the streets, there aren't 2 or 5 people, but actually the places are quite populated. So in Sheriff headquarters, for example, you'll see people eating, taking breaks, and not just the main characters, just adding to this breathing, living world. The modern lockpicking, the hacking minigame, is also cleverly put together. If you set yourself to rob all the buildings, it might feel repetitive, which I tried obviously, but it's always quite new and challenging as the levels increase. The side quests in the game are the most elaborate ones I've ever seen. You get around 2 to 3 per different areas you visit, but they always have exactly the right amount of meaning in them to make you complete them. And they're not one NPC wants something, you deliver and get the reward, but elaborate ones. People linked to you in various ways will ask for favors. The quests they give include derails and complications as you try to complete them, so by the end of each you might end up with visiting 5 different places to get to the bottom of them.
Can I speak to you outside? Get to the helipad, son. You're going back to Hengsha Island. Frank tracked down one of the GPLs.
Only one? Is it?
Sevchenko's. But Adam, we had to call in a favor of the DOD to do it.
Meaning the conspirators probably know I'm coming.
There were a couple of complaints about loading time, but what I found excellent is that the order of them couldn't be better. Because you play, possibly finish a quest, and without loading, cinematics smoothly comes in, and only afterwards, in preparation so to say, does loading time occur, which takes up like 5 seconds. So for me, this never broke up the gameplay, it only made me more anxious by making me wait. One of the best parts of these little scenes is that you get the familiar music under them, and it really just makes the transitions exciting, and it sets the mood for the next chapter in the game. You get literally psyched about your next mission. There is a very similar take on the soundtrack compared to Tron. With basically just a few sounds, the game manages with the soundtrack to make that extra step to being one of the best tunes I've ever heard. Now, the story of the game is very good, but what's phenomenal is that you constantly have to make moral choices. This is obviously nothing new to RPGs, but here it's something that is very close to our society, and therefore similar concerns might come up in the near future, and consequently a lot of events will make you think on whose side are you really on. And one last thing, the relationship between Pritchard, your sort of mission guide, and you are very well done. Avoiding boring instructions from a voice recording basically, adding humor, and they always sort of pick on each other, and this is exactly as it should be.
The hub's connected.
I know. Now be quiet and let me concentrate.
I need his name, Pritchard, not his entire genetic history.
That's not his DNA.
The traits that make Jensen are exactly the traits that make a true action hero, and with the great story, this game becomes the definitive action movie experience. Thanks for watching guys, and don't forget to subscribe.
Jensen, you might want to get ready. The jewel of the Yangtze approaches.
Son of a bitch. You're supposed to find answers in that.
Hey, twice the scum and half the space. Hang on, we're going in.